So for those who do not know, the LeBron James versus Stephen A thing has gotten really high and it's gotten to a personal level at this point. And I think a lot of this has to do with pride. I think a lot of this has to do with pride for the simple fact is you have somebody in LeBron James who is at the top of the basketball world, and you have a guy like Stephen A who's at the top of the sports journalism world. And this is clearly a pride thing. This is clearly a pride thing, and both of these guys just won't let this go. And for those who don't know, LeBron James joined the Pat McAfee show, and he had a lot of things to say.
Hey, legit, that feels like a moment that had been brewing for a long time.
He's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're watching it.
Yep.
We're all seeing it.
Oh, yeah.
You're seeing it as well.
He literally, it started off with, I didn't want to address it.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it. But since the video came out, I feel the need to address it.
Yeah, on viral. You would be not to talk about it.
Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you could address it, it's your ass. Like, seriously, and like he completely like missed the whole point. The whole point. Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job to criticize.
So for those who don't know, I think where the butting heads started is when Stephen A critiqued LeBron as a father. Once again, I don't know LeBron James personally. There could have been something different, but I think when he tried to come to LeBron on national television as a father, that was the problem. And then the next thing that happened, LeBron ended up seeing him in person and told him about himself. Stephen A didn't have anything to say then, but the next morning he had a lot to say. Then he went on Gil's Arena show and he had a lot to say then. And then I think some more things happened, but yeah, it's really disturbing. No, I wouldn't say disturbing, but it's just, I think it could be handled better on both sides.
Or to, be in a position where, okay, if a guy's not performing, that is all part of the game. That's all part of the game. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players.
Welcome to First Take. Thank you for being with us. That is Stephen A. Smith. I'm Molly Karam. Stephen A., in case you didn't know, P-Mac sat down with LeBron for an hour plus, obviously addressed a lot of stuff, and I'm assuming you'd also like to address some things.
Oh, I got a few things to address. Number one, congratulations to Pat McAfee. First of all, anybody would have gotten that interview. I take no issue with the job that Pat McAfee did. Having LeBron James on his show, anybody would have done that. The questions that he asked was more than appropriate. Outstanding job by him and his team, no doubt about that.
Yeah, 100%. like Pat McAfee, promise you. And this is somebody who actually served in the military, so this is a good salute. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, excellent job by Pat McAfee getting LeBron to sit down and talk about this openly. Because, LeBron he's a media guy. He knows how to talk to the media. So to have LeBron truly sit down and really hone in on this topic and on this conversation and get him to say the things that he did, well done, brother. Well done. Well done. Yeah, I just did a chef's kiss. Who cares?
Get to LeBron James. So LeBron James decides who really, outside of his crew, doesn't really have any friends in the media. Suddenly, he's going to be in Indianapolis, drive into the country, and go and do a show that comes on immediately after First Take. Clearly, they were looking at it, and they used the upcoming Mind Your Game podcast with Steve Nash to disguise what his real agenda was, which was to address me. Because he continues to lie to the world about what I said and who I was pointing the finger at. To regurgitate an obvious point, when I talked about Bronny James early in the season and I highlighted the fact that at that particular moment in time he simply was not ready, I was calling out LeBron James. LeBron James never addresses that with anybody, and for some reason no one ever asked him about that. Wasn't it you who said that Bronny James was better than some players in the NBA right now before he was even drafted? Wasn't it you who said, if you want me, draft my son?
I think he's still missing the point. And once again, I just think it's not the problem that LeBron's not or Bronny's not playing well in the NBA because he's playing well as in the G League. I think the problem is the fact that you're saying, hey, LeBron, as a father, stop this. As a father, stop this. I think I put a clip out in one of my videos. Hold on. All right, so this is actually my video. So hold on. Let's see.
Respectful as I possibly can be towards LeBron James. One of the top 2 or 3 players in the history of basketball, number 2 in my eyes. A treasure to the game of basketball that we should and will all miss when he is gone. I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad. The first game of the season, opening night, the Griffeys in attendance, father-son duo playing in an NBA game for the first time, an absolutely positively wonderful story. And then reality sets in.
He could have kept all of that out, chat. He could have kept all of that out. Like, he could have just been like, I think the way Bronny's playing in the G League is a lot better than a lot of people would have given him credit for. As the NBA, in an NBA standpoint, I just don't think he's ready. What's so hard about that? What is so hard about that we can't do as analysts, as journalists, as TV personalities? For any of the basketball players who don't understand that it is your job to analyze the game, how you understand it and how you see it, that's on them. But if you have to say, as a father, I'm pleading, I'm begging you to put an end to this. We all know Bronny's here because of his dad. That's personal and that's disrespectful. There are many different ways he could have said this. That's why this is a problem. By the way, I was extremely ahead on this. Bronny, LeBron, and Stephen A. Train. I was reporting on this a month ago. But you see, I don't have the motion because, as you can tell, it only has 280 views. That's why you guys need to subscribe, man. Subscribe. Come on.
Play with your son for 1 year. Wasn't it you who literally circumvented meritocracy within the National Basketball Association and got the entire media world in the NBA and, of course, the Lakers organization to buy in on that? LeBron James did all of that. That is the person I was talking about as a father. Not the father in Brentwood or Bel Air or wherever else he has homes. I'm talking about the father that shows up at Crypto.com arena. Last time I checked, Bronny James is a professional basketball player. LeBron James went on national television yesterday and lied. He said that I have no problem with you talking about the game. What did I say about Bronny James other than at the time he wasn't ready? That was it. I said nothing.
Okay, so I'm not going to sit through this entire clip because I'm going to get upset. Anyway, I'm here to give you guys my thoughts on it. To be completely fair, I think both sides are wrong. And I think this isn't helping the game of basketball. This isn't elevating the game of basketball. This is not good for basketball as a sport. When in what other sport do we see a top player in respected sport and a top journalist in that respected sport going at each other like this? It's only in the NBA. When I look at Twitter, I see people who have arguments about basketball, and almost directly after it gets personal. I've seen it happen on YouTube. I've seen it happen on ESPN. I don't like that. I don't like where basketball discourse is heading. Why can't me as a grown man, you, if you're watching this as a grown woman, as a grown man, have a civilized conversation about basketball without it getting personal? Why does it have to be, oh, I'm smart, you're stupid, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Why does it have to be like that? And now that we're seeing it from the two top journalists and players in the NBA, it's never going to change. It's never going to change. There has to be some example out there of people having basketball discourse with in a progressive way. In a progressive way. And I think people go into arguments about basketball with a opinion that can't be different, or an opinion that just they can't move off of. I believe some of the best basketball conversations are when you go into that conversation with, you know what, I could be proved wrong. I could have a difference of opinion. I can have my opinion changed. If you go into basketball with a basketball discourse with an opinion that cannot be changed, and you have not done the research, or you just don't know as much as you need to have an opinion that can't be changed, you're going to think you're smarter than the other person. The other person is going to think you're smarter than you. And it's going to lead to a disrespectful conversation. I don't think there is anything that happens on a basketball court that has to lead to the disrespect that I see on a daily throughout the discourse of this sport. I just don't. I don't believe that there needs to be the level of disrespect constantly that I see every single day. I don't. So if you were to ask me, I think LeBron was wrong for, in the middle of the game, addressing Stephen A. Smith. Yes, I do think LeBron could have called. Yes, I do think LeBron could have moved off the floor maybe after the game. But I don't, to be complete, and I don't want to pick sides, but I think Stephen A. Smith is really wrong. Like, I think LeBron could have handled some things better. I'm not even going to say LeBron is wrong. I think LeBron could have handled some things better. I think Stephen A. Smith is legitimately wrong. Like, he's legitimately wrong, because you know what you said when you said it. You know what you said when you said it. You said, LeBron, we just watched the clip. You said, I'm pleading to you as a father. Stop. So you didn't get multi-time NBA champion LeBron James. You didn't get multi-time MVP LeBron James when he walked up to you. You got father LeBron James. Since you wanted to plead to him as a father, he came to you as a father. And I don't have kids. So I don't know that type of pressure of listening to the world bash your kid. I don't know that. So any person that is willing, or not willing, but can deal with that on an everyday basis, you're better than me. I don't know that feeling. But you asked him. You said, I'm pleading to you as a father. He came to you as a father. This went personal as soon as you said as a father. You could have went up there and chose your words way differently. And then after the confrontation happened, it could have been left at that. You guys had a conversation. There's not a full, there wasn't a great angle. Like, we saw you guys having a heated debate, but we don't know what you said or if you said anything. It could have been left at that. You went to First Take. Then you went to your own show. Then you went to Gil's Arena. Then you said if he would have swung on you. Nobody ever brought up this being physical. You did that. Nobody brought up LeBron James as a father. You did that. That's all I'm saying. But to wrap this up, man, I think this is bad for basketball. I think this is truly bad for basketball. Now that people are going to see two guys at the top of their respective careers going at it like this over basketball, it's never going to change. This type of basketball discourse is never going to change. Like, that's my take on it. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like this type of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And for the month of April, my goal is to hit 1,500 subs. So if you guys would like to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.